security guard, or is that also something that's in place, or do you feel that putting these gates will deter any action?
Right now, it's just the gates or the fencing.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, well, you guys might want to monitor
Yes.
any activity there, and if there is an activity happening, some type of behavior that we're not comfortable with, you might want to consider maybe perhaps having security at night,
Absolutely.
overnight.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah,
Absolutely.
we definitely want to make sure we take care of our property and in our space. Well, will this also deter some of the behavior that's been happening at the bridge, or is that in a completely separate area of those type of dangerous behaviors that we've seen before?
This is just underneath right now, but I would assume that it would also deter some of the activity. It could reduce some of the activity, above the deck level.
Yeah, and especially like graffiti on the columns that we have down on the ground. We want to prevent that. We want to prevent, spending city resources to take care of that. So that's why we looked for the higher fencing. We did contemplate barbed wire, but the council office did not support that. So this we felt was the best measure and the most cost-effective measure.
Okay.
So ideally, it should curb, at a minimum, hopefully graffiti.
Okay, no problem. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions. Any objections, colleagues? Seeing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 1 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, VP. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll take it from Corson and Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, we have a first by Vice President Villegas and a second by Commissioner Corson and Dr. Davis to move item number 1 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Shay, Natalie, thank you for your time. Look forward to those renderings. And yes, whatever we can do to make sure we protect our property is very important.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Have a good weekend, both. All right, colleagues, moving on to item number 2. This is a request. I'm just going to read the top. And our City Attorney, Ted Jordan, can you confirm with me that it's okay if I do not read out loud all the 8 recommendations from Metro?
No, the agenda speaks for itself, so we don't need to read everything on there. I'll defer to you as to sort of how you may want to summarize it, but we're not required under the Brown Act to read out that entire long agenda.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm gonna read, thank you for that clarification. I'm going to read the title and then I'm gonna read 7 because that's actually times and schedules of the closure. And I just wanna make sure that's in the record publicly. But the rest are very standard recommendations that we've seen in our board reports for the past years, right, Larry? Where are you? Yes, I see you shaking your head. So
Yes.
Larry here from Bureau of Engineering, we had a quick briefing as well. And Dr. Campos, I hear that we have a comment on this item.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and is that Mr. Sutton is what I project?
That is correct.
Okay, Mr. Sutton, you're welcome to speak if you want to speak on this item. We can definitely welcome you.
President Garcia, would you like to, so this is item number 2. Would you like to read recommendation number 7 for the titles or the dates and times into the record, or after the public comment?
I think I want to remain on our process after public comment.
Okay, Mr. Sutton, the Board of Public Works is now considering item number 2. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Most of my comments are in my law, but I've been appearing before the board for, I don't know, over 6 years on this issue. And what we want, we know you're going to approve it, we want conditions so that during the day, the decibel level measured at the property line deck did not exceed 75 decibels. We want at night from 9 p.m. to 7 in the morning, the decibel level does not exceed 65. We want monitors for dust and for access posted in terms of videos and equipment. I think that the city should require MTA to pay for 24-hour monitoring by contract administration so that they know what's going on. The city and city attorneys throughout this process have been very helpful. The only reason today the board is making CEQA findings is because the attorney's office intervened to overrule MTA on that issue and is now making independent CEQA findings. And the board has the power to make independent CEQA conditions to protect the businesses. MTA provides business interruption payments for every project and every street in the county except for South Flower Street. Now, the Bonaventure is too qualified, but our tenants and other people on Flower Street have been closing, gone back, because the construction has been very disruptive, and MTA has refused construction mitigation payments to any of the small businesses on Flower Street between Wilshire. It's the only part of the county where MTA has refused mitigation payments. We're asking the board today to impose new conditions in terms of dust, access, and do those in a formal process, either in the resolution or through an MRP. Thank you very much. Payments to any of the small businesses on Flower Street between Wilshire.
Okay.
What was that question?
No, I think it was your echo, sir, that kind of repeated it back.
I'll put.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your public comment. We appreciate those concerns. And we did receive your letter this morning. Okay, Larry, let me read it into the record. I want to read the title, and then I want to read also number 7, just for the more of the times. This is a request from the Bureau of Engineering and Council District 14, street closures, Flower Street between 3rd Street and Wilshire Boulevard, Metro Regional Connector Transit Corridor Project, recommending the board. And we have 8 recommendations that are in the agenda, but I'm going to read into the record agenda recommendation number 7, which is approve the request to temporarily close Flower Street between 3rd Street and Wilshire Boulevard for 6 58-hour consecutive weekends. Each weekend closure will start on Friday at 7 p.m. and end on Monday at 5 a.m. for the following weekend, subject to conditions identified within the report. Friday, September 23rd, 22 to Monday, September 26th, Friday, September 30th to Monday, October 3rd, 2022, Friday, September 7th to Monday, October 10th, 2022, Friday, October 14th to Monday, October 17th, 2022, Friday, October 21st to Monday, October 24th, and Friday, October 28th, 2022 to Monday, October 31st, 2022. Well, I'm glad to hear Halloween's going to be open. And those are the ones I will read into the record. Larry?
Commissioner Garcia, I'm sorry, this is Ted.
Oh,
Sorry
go
to
ahead.
interject. A slight misreading on one of them. It's for the record.
Which one?
It's Friday, October 7th to Monday, October 10th. I think I heard you say September 7th. Not
Oh,
October
I'm sorry
7th.
if I did. Correction, it's Friday, October 7th, 2022 to Monday, October 10th, 2022. Thank you.
Thank you.
And hang on just one last minute. I believe we have another public comment. I was just made aware of now. If not, I would have taken it before I read anything into the record. So I'm Dr. Williams.
that is correct, Madam President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. The hand was raised before you finished reading the item into the record. Dr. Time Williams raised his hand. Dr. Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone.
I'm
Board
good.
Public Works.
I'm gonna just make some clarification. I'm gonna take his public comment, but while reading it into the record, public comment, we should have known this before I started reading it into the record, so I could have followed the same procedure I did with Mr. Sutton. Just wanted to make sure that that's clear. So we'll take public comment now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And those are the ones I will read into the record.
Absolutely. Thank you, President Garcia. We did call out for callers and speakers before the meeting was commenced. However, the caller did raise their hand as we were reading it into the record. Dr. Tom Williams, you will have 2 minutes to speak on item number 2. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community and others. Welcome back, Ted. A basic comment for this entire project is ADA compliance. And just by simply going down the route, there is one intersection, Fifth and Flower, which is not ADA compliant. The north side, that is the 5th Street side of the southwest corner, has no ramp. And a wheelchair-bound person must enter the traffic lane in order to go over to the Flower side ramp because it's not at the corner. The other intersections have adequate corner ramps, whereas this one isn't. So I would highly recommend that you use the sign that you have with that to render the ADA compliance for the north side, the 5th Street side of the southwest corner. So that's a basic element. There's also a matter as to, I have not found any mention that there will be physical signs noticing such things on each of the intersections that are going to be involved. It would be very nice and a good mitigation monitoring and reporting element for having signage indicating what's going to happen, because very few people attend these meetings and read all of the documents that they have, but a simple sign placed on the construction site and the project site would be adequate. Thank you. I will also be having a comment for item 3, I think it is.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Williams, for your public comment.
I have submitted these formally through the notice
2
yesterday.
minutes.
Thank
2
you.
minutes.
Thank you. We did receive them. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that, Dr. Campos. Now we can go on to Larry. Larry, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. Today, Ann Huang will be delivering the report. Ann is the project lead on the project on behalf of BOE. Just to address Dr. Williams' comment, we have reviewed the plans, the restoration plans. We believe the restoration is ADA compliant, but we will take another look at the areas that you flagged. Thank you. Ann?
Good morning, Commissioners. I am Ann Huang from the Bureau of Engineering, Metro Transit Division. The Metro Regional Connector Project is a 1.9-mile underground light rail transit line that will extend from a newly relocated Little Tokyo Art District station to the 7th Street Metro Center and includes 2 additional stations, Historic Broadway and Grand Avenue Arts Bunker Hill. Metro and their contractor, Regional Connector Constructors, today before you are requesting for a series of 6 consecutive weekend-only closures of Flower Street between 3rd Street and Wilshire Boulevard. Beginning on Friday, September 23rd, 2022, and ending Monday, October 31st, 2022. Each weekend closure will be for 58 hours and will start at 7 p.m. on Friday and end at 5 a.m. on the following Monday. Each of these weekend closures will be used to restore Flower Street to its permanent condition by removing the temporary construction work areas, grind and overlay the asphalt concrete pavement, and install permanent striping. Under recommendation number 8, we are requesting the board to authorize BOE to administratively approve 2 additional contingency weekend-only closures, starting Friday, November 4th and ending Monday, November 14th. For this report, all major construction approvals associated with the work in this closure have been approved by BOE and other bureaus. Metro has stated that they are committed to providing advance notice and mitigating construction impacts to the surrounding community and the stakeholders for the closure. Council District 14 has also communicated their support for the street closure. There are no unresolved notices of non-compliance by Bureau of Contract Administration. And the worksite traffic control plans have been approved by LADOT. This concludes my report, and we have staff from BOE, DOT, Metro, and regional, their contractor available to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you for your consideration.
Great, thank you, Larry and Anne, for that very thorough report. I see Dr. Davis' hand is up. Dr. Davis? You're on mute, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, both Larry and Ann, for this report. And I definitely understand the closures that we are going to implement here. And time and again, this question about the services we provide, and Ann, you did state that all of the services that we provide in these cases of closures will be provided in this particular jurisdiction. And yet the question has come up about the business fund as it relates to vendors in this area. Could you elaborate for me in terms of what our service delivery on those services are for vendors in this area?
Hi, Commissioner. This is Larry Hsu. I suggest we ask Metro to answer that question.
Sure. Thank you.
Metro?
If I may, good morning, Commissioners. My name is Ronald Stam. I'm a Principal Deputy County Counsel representing Metro. I'm familiar with Metro's Business Interruption Fund. It was created by our board years ago for certain projects in certain locations.
Sure.
So for the regional connector, it was authorized by our board only for Little Tokyo. So it's not available to businesses on Flower Street.
Were there some variables that distinguish the businesses in areas like Flower Street, perhaps from some of the other underserved or targeted areas where the program is being implemented?
I think the thinking of the board was that this is a program to keep small, vulnerable businesses alive during periods of disruptive construction in areas where they're more vulnerable. For instance, along the Crenshaw Boulevard alignment for the Crenshaw LAX project, it was also authorized. And also for Purple Line Extension Section 1, where there are a lot of small businesses with fewer than 25 employees who don't have a lot of income typically during the year and are more vulnerable to construction impacts and are at risk of closing during construction without some support. Perhaps our board felt that along Flower Street in this area between 3rd and 7th Street, that there weren't many businesses that fell into that category.
Would it be safe to say that the potential for business and the general revenues of businesses in that area perhaps outperform other areas, perhaps? Is that the thinking of the board? Perhaps.
I don't have that financial data to confirm what you just said. But I think the program was initially targeted for at-risk businesses that were more vulnerable to closing during prolonged periods of metro construction.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to ask
the question.
Oh, no, you were asking very good questions. And Mr. Sam, following up some of the questions that Dr. Davis just asked, because this area does not generally have small business around, is why Business Inclusion Fund is not implemented?
I think so. I think it was made available in Little Tokyo only for the regional connector because Little Tokyo is an EJ community with a lot of small businesses, and there was a desire to provide support for those businesses because a lot of the regional connector construction work was occurring in Little Tokyo.
President Garcia, can I jump in? Would you mind?
Who's talking?
This is Matt Antonelli, Regional Connector Project Manager.
Okay.
I just want to, just for the record, to be very clear, Little Tokyo was the original plan for our business interruption fund, but we did expand that out into the 2nd and Broadway area. If you remember, we had to do a long-term closure there that was not in the original plan, and that area did qualify as well for the business interruption fund, but just for a brief period. Just want to point out that it wasn't just a Little Tokyo area, just for the record.
Okay. All right. I hope
Great.
that kind of clears it out. Okay. Any other questions, colleagues? Vice President Villegas?
Thank you. And, I just wanted to ask if we were, the letter that we received from the folks from the Bonaventure, if any of you all wanted to address that, Mr. Antonelli, or if there was intent to do that.
Yeah, if you may, I would jump in, and Ron could back me up if needed. I just want to say the project as a whole has continued to reach out to the stakeholders in the planning processes of these long-term closures. This is the same conversation we've had during the original decking and piling installation. And we've continued to work with our stakeholders along the alignment. Olga Arroyo, who's also on the call, is communications or community relations manager for the project. Her staff has been meeting regularly with the Bonaventure in particular. They had input on our timing. They had input on our MOT plans, our traffic control plans. They also had input on what weekends we were working. So we have done our best to work with community, and the same commitment that's always been there is we will mitigate where necessary. We're monitoring the sound. Con Ed is on our project full time, so they are on site representing the city, making sure that everything is built to the city standard. There was a comment earlier about signage, and part of our MOT plan does include, our traffic control plan, does include signage in and around the area, notifying everyone of potential closures or detours that are in place. So we've done our part to address all of that. We also have phased the work in front of the Bonaventure to provide access at all times. So during each phase in each location we're working, we have worked with the Bonaventure to provide them access and to inform them how they can get in and out of their building to mitigate any concerns that may come. And this is the same all the way down. While we focused here in this one particular area, but this conversation goes from all the way from 3rd down to Wilshire when we have these in particular closures. So I think it's a big part of the project. Is a big milestone for us to finally restore Flower Street and pull our work areas off. I think that's something that the community and the project have been jointly looking forward, and so I think it's a big step for us to finally get to this location. But the commitment is always the same from the project that we will be out there monitoring. We'll be out there controlling dust with sweepers and providing access for wherever is needed.
Thank you for that. I have two additional questions, and I'll just ask both of them. The request from the Bonaventure, is that any different from the standards that we have with BCA? And then the second question for sound. My second question, today's, I think, street closure will have to start today. Is there any anticipated additional street closures that you would like for us to be made aware of on this project?
Not for this location. As I presented a few weeks ago, Mr. Villegas, we talked about the other future closures that we'll be coming back and talking to. So as far as this request goes, we're strictly just focusing on Flower Street and what we needed to make sure we could accomplish what we need to accomplish as far as restoring that. With regards to the request on ConAd in particular, ConAd is on site. ConAd typically doesn't monitor for noise. We do ourselves with our contractor. We have an environmental team that goes out there with noise monitors. It's the same process that we did. We implemented throughout the decking and throughout the work along Flower Street. So we'll be maintaining the same process of monitoring and reporting on noise and making sure that we fall within the appropriate noise variances that are given to the project.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to go back to the street closure. Thank you for making us aware of the street closures a couple of weeks ago. I thought that this street closure was just going to come at least a weekend prior to the actual day of the request. So just trying to work, with you and with your staff just to be able to, either streamline anything that we need to get done just so it can come just a little bit before the actual date of closure. And just wanted to make you aware of that. And then, just to the many folks that, visit the Bonaventure, it's such an icon for the city of Los Angeles. And we do want to be good neighbors as such an important project for the city's being built. So I thank you for putting it on the record that you'll be very, I don't want to say, I want to use a word that's just factual. I was going to say mindful, but that's not factual. But that you're cognizant of, and you will recognize, the limitations that are all being stipulated, and you all will follow those as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. I want to just take also note. I know, Mr. Antonelli, we've told you in the past that we really want these closures to come early and not make us do it at the day of. And I will take slight credit. I'm not taking all credit, Antonelli, because you guys should have submitted it earlier. But I take slight credit because I did speak to Ted Allen about this, and we made the decision to do it today just so that we don't overburden our board secretariat on Wednesday, so that we wouldn't have it. So that's only like 10% of the credit I'm taking. The other 90%, Mr. Antonelli, we really want you to make sure that you submit these requests very early on.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, and I take 100% of the credit. Don't take any there. The city did work with us, and Ann and Larry, as always, we try to do our best to get the information to them, and they could only give you and provide you what we are able to provide them. So it's fully on our project and fully on me as a PM. So I recognize that. This one in particular, there was a lot of moving parts with the stakeholders and trying to find weekends that fit everyone's schedules and trying to do that. So this one took a little bit harder. So in the future, I promise to do better and we'll give you some more notifications. So I apologize.
Thank you so much for that. But I just wanted to also make sure that the board knew that I also decided for Friday. We could have had it Wednesday, but we were going to put a lot of extra burden on our staff. So we just said Friday. So we avoided that piece. But overall, we're okay. Commissioner Reyes.
So just one question. You know that tourism is a huge part of our economy here in downtown LA. Who's doing the outreach to the local tour agencies? They do walking tours, in downtown LA. They have other like expeditions that they do, bus tours and all that. So who's doing that outreach to them if this is going to be for 6 weeks? Because I know that a number of them have already scheduled, their tours and have customers and all that. And what kind of mitigation are we doing to address that issue?
Yeah, we do take that into account when we have our coordination efforts. I have Olga on the call. Olga, do you mind taking that answer?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Matt. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Olga Arroyo. I'm the Community Relations Manager on the Regional Connector Project. And to answer your question, Commissioner Reyes, yes, my team has reached out to the LA Tourism Board and informed them of the series of closures planned on Flower Street over the next few weekends. They have the information of the closures as well as alternative routes that can be used by any tour bus that is normally on Flower Street. They have that detour information available and the dates. We've also provided this information to the Chamber of Commerce, to CCA, Downtown Bid, so they all have this information available and can share with their members.
Thank you for that information.
Sorry about that. My mouse was not working with me. Thank you very much, Commissioner Reyes. Commissioner Corson.
Just to quickly add on that, I appreciate Commissioner Reyes' question because that was a very really good observation. I just looked on the LA Conservancy website and they have walking tours planned for tomorrow in that area and for the upcoming Saturdays. And that does include Flower and the LA Library and California Club. So I mean, if the closure is going to be a disruption for them, I understand you reached out to CCA and the Chamber and the Tourism Board, but you may want to reach out to the LA Conservancy.
Yeah, we'll do that. But just one point is walking tours would still be able to have access to the area. The roads themselves will be closed up through traffic, but pedestrian access will be provided throughout the closure. So I have point taken, but we will reach out just so you're aware.
Thank you for them, Commissioner Corson. Any other comments or questions? Okay, I'm a Commissioner. I didn't know if you were frozen, Commissioner Corson. You're good?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I didn't know that was directed towards me. Sorry.
No, that's okay. And I still see Commissioner Reyes and Dr. Davis hands up. Is that a new question or is that just something that stayed up? Okay, got it. Okay. All right, I think we have now cleared everybody's questions, concerns, comments. So is there a motion on the table to approve item number 2? Move it forward.
So moved.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. I'm gonna second that as well. Unless there's other seconds that want to join me. If not, we'll move it along this way. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Vice President Villegas and a second by me to move item number 2 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. You're on mute, Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous.
Great. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you, Metro team, and Mr. Sutton also for your comments, and our Dr. Williams as well, and all the questions. That was very good. I'm glad that we were able to at least put the tourism group on alert of what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. So thank you for that. And everybody else, Larry, Ann, and Ted, and everybody that works around this, thank you so much for your time. Look forward to these 6 weeks.
Thank you.
Or 8 weeks. 8 weeks of closure to be done. Thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone. All right, colleagues, we have a short agenda today, which is nice on a Friday. We are now in our last portion of the agenda, oral reports. This is an item number 3. This is an oral report from the Bureau of Street Services. Status update on major upcoming street improvement projects, Bureau of Street Services. And who do we have here today? Mr. Brandt.
President Garcia, we have Gary Brandt from the Bureau of Street Services. In addition to that, we do have one caller on the line for item number 3, if you'd like to take that caller now at this time.
Yes, please. Let's do that, Dr. Campos.
Perfect. Thank you, President Garcia. Dr. Tom Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 3. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this segment. Please go ahead.
Good morning again. Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council Committee member. But the basic element is neighborhood councils need to be informed of major upcoming street improvement projects which affect their area. So I'd highly recommend that Bureau of Street Services notify the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment and or go directly to the relevant neighborhood councils by way of emails to notify them at least 30 days before you actually consider it on the board here. So highly recommend go to the CDs and or at least done 30 days ahead of the presentations so that the neighborhood councils can contribute. Thank you. That's all.
Great. Thank you for our public comments. Mr. Brandt.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Gary Brandt, Bureau of Street Services with the Streets LA Major Street Project Update. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on the upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays to the commuters. Streets LA would like to provide you with an update on all major upcoming street improvement projects. There are no major street projects scheduled in the metro resurfacing region during the week of 9/25 through 10/1/2022. The following major street project is scheduled in the Valley resurfacing region during the week of 9/25 through 10/1/22. Saturday 9/24 through Sunday 9/25/2022 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. we will begin cold milling and paving Laurel Canyon Boulevard from Brand Boulevard to Chamberlain Street, CD7 Mission Hills Neighborhood Council Pavement Preservation Fund. Additionally, we will provide an update on our 22-23 pavement preservation program. During the week of 9/25/22 through 10/1/22, the Metro region will complete 8 projects for a total of 6.77 lane miles. During the week of 9/25 through 10/1/22, the Valley region will complete 12 projects for a total of 8.4 lane miles. Let's see. The press releases were broadcasted and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the council district offices to assist with the outreach to stakeholders, and we have coordinated with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available on the Streets LA website, streetsla.lacity.org. For additional information or concerns, you can contact Sherrard Nichols at 213-847-3200. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Brandt, for your report. Any questions, colleagues? Any concerns? All right, I don't see anything, Mr. Brandt. Thank you for your time. Look forward to all that good work you guys are doing out there. And stay safe. I know it's going to be hot, I believe, this week and this coming week. So make sure we take care of our workers out there.
We certainly will. Thank you very much, and everyone have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, colleagues, that concludes our voting and oral report items. Dr. Campos, have we cleared today's desk?
Yes, you have.
Great. Colleagues, 5-minute break, and then we'll just check in for a quick management meeting. Otherwise, other than that, everybody's free to go. Have a good weekend. And this meeting is now officially adjourned at 10:56, September 23rd.